Now, when did you actually form Mollywop, and how many members is actually in the group?
So Mollywop was formed in, I think it was May, either May or June of 2014. And really, the first show we did, I didn't really have a name for the band. So we call it Malik Yakini and the Black Star Posse or something like that. Because somebody had asked me to play at a community event, and I really didn't have a band to play at the event. So I said, yeah, I'll put something together. And so I've been working with different people, different singers and different instrumentalists, and asked them to come do the show. So that was the first show. Then by the second show, we'd actually named the band Mollywop. And it's an interesting story about how that name came about. Our drummer, Sister Aisha Ellis, used to work at D-Town Farm. And one Saturday, she was at the farm with her son, who at that time was probably about 12 or 13 years old. And her son wasn't obeying what she was telling him to do. And she said, boy, if you don't do what I told you to do, I'm going to mollywop you. I was like, what? Mollywop? And I said, what does that mean? And she said, that means when you draw your hand back and like backhand somebody across their face. I was like, we gonna call the band that. And it stuck, So, and of course, what we're doing is metaphorically smacking people upside the head, with the lyrics and with the hard driving music. But that's how the name of the band came about. So by our second show, which is August or September or something like that of 2014, we were officially Mollywop. And the band currently has 8 members. Sometimes the number of members fluctuate. There's been a couple of people in and out. We used to have 3 MCs that perform with us regularly. Unfortunately, one of those MCs passed, Brother Sirius. And in fact, we dedicated our album to Brother Sirius, like the star Sirius, not like I'm serious about this, but both of those. So he was serious too. And Sirius was at one time for a few years the manager of D-Town Farm. So, a lot of us were into the music and the agriculture who are in the band. The interesting thing about the band, though, is it's like a multi-generational band. I'm 65 years old, and the youngest person in the band is about 29. And so we got people in their 40s and people in their 30s. So we have this wide range, which is kind of unusual for a band. And we have also the band, we don't have an ideology per se, where we all march in lockstep on the same page. One member of the band, she's Christian. She goes to church. Some members of the band, they're into traditional African religion. Some members of the band are into spirituality and no religion. So it's all these different views. We dress different. Some people wear African clothes all the time. Some don't wear African clothes. But in a sense, we're like a microcosm of what exists in the larger African community. That we're not all the same. We don't all dress, but somehow we have to find a way to work together. And we found a way to do that in Mollywop. And even though we don't have, a single ideology, we all have this very pro-Black, wanting better for Black people. We all agree on that. And we all agree on, kind of a natural lifestyle and those kind of things. And so it works. All those different viewpoints are able to come together in a harmonious way, and it all works.
Wow. Okay.
One more thing I want to say. Part of my evolution over the last, several years, 40 years or so, has been really interrogating my own internalized patriarchy and how patriarchy lessens us, as it doesn't allow us to be full human beings, as well as it underdevelops women. And so most of the bands I played in over the years have been all men. Especially on the reggae set, it's been like all men. And I just really, looked at that and what kind of energy that brings and what kind of statement that makes to women too. It doesn't create like an opening, into the music for them. So really at first I was trying to have almost all women musicians in this band. it didn't work out like that, but we have, we have two female singers and a female drummer. And so having that mix, that gender mix, also creates a nice balance in the band. And that's something I really like about Mollywop, the mix of gender and the mix of age.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Y'all make it sound good and y'all make it look good. Cause I was checking out some of the music. Some songs you get an old school vibe. Sometimes you get a reggae vibe. I heard some rock, some hip hop, some soul. So man, I definitely appreciate what y'all doing. But like you say,
all of that's in there. All of that's in.
Yeah, for sure.
And some people say, well, you gotta choose a genre. You gotta be, to be marketable. You gotta either be, R&B, or you gotta be hip hop, or you gotta. And I'm just, refusing to buy into that, because really the whole thing of genres of music is an artificial thing anywhere. Where does blues end and rock begins? Or where does rock and roll end and funk begin? There's no clear lines. It all kind of fuses together. And so we can see the through lines. These are all musics that we grew up with and that we all like. Funk, Parliament Funkadelic was based here in Detroit for a number of years, and most of their most popular albums were recorded here in Detroit. So Eddie Hazel, for example, who I mentioned earlier, lived on the corner of the block that our bass player lives on. So, I mean, these were like people that, we had access to and it influenced us. Jazz, of course, was huge in Detroit. And any of us growing up in Detroit, we were influenced by that. The Motown sound, R&B was huge in Detroit. We were all influenced by that. I mentioned that I was into reggae for 30 years. So that's a huge hip hop is, you can't be in a Black community and not be influenced by hip hop. And so all of that is in the music. I don't feel like we have to choose. I feel like, we can find ways of combining all of that and creating, a music that people love.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, it's our music. We created it, but more importantly, y'all are addressing uplifting Black people. You know what I'm saying? It's a very positive, conscious message for Black people. So I think that's very important. But all of the songs sound good, nevertheless. They sound refreshing because you listen to a lot of the music today, whether it's rap or R&B, is they kind of on the same rhythm, the same cadence, the same beat. You know what I'm saying? It's not really no diversity in the content. So